You know that feeling when someone's trying to get under your skin? They're probably using emotional manipulation, right? Emotions make it hard to think straight. Not because you're weak, but because that's how your brain works. Manipulators know this. They hit your emotions first, then slip in their message. Today, I'm breaking down their tricks so you can spot them. And stick around to the end because I'm going to pull a comment from my last video and show you these tactics in a real world scenario. It's a masterclass in manipulation. You do not want to miss this. So let's start with the fear hijacking, okay? Fear shuts down your thinking brain. Your prefrontal cortex, it just goes offline. And then your amygdala, the fight or flight, right, that takes over. There's no room for logic, right? Pharmaceutical ads do this all the time. They hit you with the, this could happen to you. And then they show you some scary symptoms and then, oh, the pill, magic pill, and everything's happy and everyone's happy, but you're too freaked out to research the side effects or even pay attention to all of them being rattled off at the end of the damn ad, right? The news media, same thing. At 11, the household items that could kill you. Fear keeps you watching. Watching keeps ads running, which in turn keeps them in business, right? When you feel that fear, when it's just like that, it spikes, just pause. Ask, who's trying to sell me something here? Now, what about anger blindness? Anger, it narrows your focus, right? To just like one target. No context, no nuance, just the enemy. Social media, they love anger. Angry people click. Angry people share and comment, right? Platforms profit from your rage. Political campaigns, they weaponize this too. They create an enemy, make you hate them, and while you're raging, you don't check the policies or their track record. Next time you're pissed at a post, just stop. Wait. Look at the actual facts, not just what triggered you. So what about sympathy exploitation? Sad stories, they short-circuit your skepticism. Show a suffering kid, add emotional music, and boom, you're hooked. Scammers lean on the sob stories, right? Their sick relatives, lost jobs, stolen wallets. Your sympathy kicks in. Your logic shuts off and your money's gone. Even legit charities play this game. They show the worst cases, the most dramatic suffering, because it opens wallets. Sympathy's great. You should have sympathy. But don't let it blind you to the actual argument, right? What about pride and shame? Smart people like you, they get this. That's pride manipulation. You want to feel smart, so you nod along without thinking. Question it, and you're admitting that you're dumb. I did this in a previous video. Did you catch it? Only bad parents would refuse this. That's shame. You'll do anything to avoid being labeled a bad person, even if it means buying junk or accepting bad advice. Right? Groups use this constantly. Real men do this. Good citizens support that. They define good and bad and then pressure you to prove that you're good. Don't fall for it. Check the logic, not the label. So use the pause protocol, okay? That's how you can combat these manipulation tactics. Feeling a strong emotion from new information? Stop. Don't share. Don't decide. Don't respond. Wait an hour. Better yet, 24. Write down the emotion. Name it. Ask who benefits from me feeling this way, right? What do they want? And then research when you're calm. Emotions fade and facts stay, right? So decide based on what's left after the feelings passes. That's how you stay in control. Now let's dig through that comment I got on my previous video about logical fallacies. It's a perfect example of emotional manipulation pretending to be logic, right? Let's break it down line by line and spot the tricks. This person commented in response to my video about personal attacks, well, logical fallacies, but she was talking about the ad hominem stuff specifically. I explained how personal attacks or ad hominem attacks, they are often used to discredit someone's stance by trying to discredit the person without addressing the person's argument, right? She starts by saying, occasionally, the personal attack is warranted when it's directly related to the topic. Happy to provide examples. So she starts off with a bold claim, right? Setting up a pride trap. I'm smarter than you. I know when personal attacks are okay. But it's vague. No examples yet, just a promise. This is bait, right? It's there to keep you engaged, right? Feeling like you need to hear them out, right? You really don't. But I responded in disagreement, but I invited her to elaborate on her claim. I wanted to see where this was going to go. She then proceeded to leave a second comment, a quite long comment. In fact, I'm really new to TikTok, and maybe someone can answer this in the comments, but like when I tried to respond, I was extremely limited on the number of characters I could use. It was like 60. I don't know how she wrote a book, but that's what happened. So I thought about it and I responded, I think, properly. And this is a great way to really talk about that whole interaction now. So she starts off and this is what she said. Of course, but I want to back up because that was misdirection on my part. I'm not trying to do a gotcha or anything, but I did want to point out a tactic I see online in online arguments. This is a classic backpedal with sympathy play. I'm not trying to trick you, sounds humble. But it's a tactic to lower your guard. They're framing themselves to be as honest, while subtly implying that you're not smart enough to see their deep points. She goes on to say, when an aspect of a person is essential to the argument, is then dismissed as a personal attack. For example, if I were arguing with someone about a racist law, and I told them they are racist for believing that, say black people should be denied entry to universities because they have really thick skulls and aren't intelligent. What? This is a big one. Fear and sympathy hijacking. She drops a shocking, emotionally charged hypothetical about a racist law and a disgusting thick skulls comment. No specific law, no evidence, just pure shock value. She wants you to wince when you read it. And then while you're emotionally hijacked, you're not questioning their actual point about ad hominem, right? Plus, it's a straw man. I never said calling out racism in an argument is ad hominem. I said ad hominem is attacking the person instead of the argument. They're arguing against a point that I never made. She continues with, I'm not calling them racist as a personal attack. They are being objectively racist, and their racism is an essential part of the argument. And then the pearl clutching. How could you call me a racist? That was an in real life thing someone said to me once, by the way. But also, I've seen the race example in a lot of the debates Charlie Kirk had. What? More sympathy and shame? The IRL story? It's another emotional pull. This really happened to me. Feel bad for me. My sources trust me, bro. Right? It's irrelevant to whether ad hominem is a fallacy. The pearl clutching jab shames anyone who disagrees as overly sensitive, right? While they position themselves as morally superior. Notice the vague debates Charlie Kirk had? No specifics, just the flex to sound authoritative. Then she proceeds to say, also, if I were to call Trump a grifter, if I were speaking to him directly about how he's using his power and authority to take advantage of his followers, where's the evidence? Or if I called RFK Jr. uneducated because he lacks the education to understand how vaccines work or critically read scientific research, if I were arguing with him about vaccine policy. This is anger blindness in full effect. She cherry picks politically charged names, Charlie Kirk, Trump, RFK Jr., to trigger instant rage and defense in viewers, right? It's not about logic. It's about pushing buttons, calling Trump a grifter or RFK uneducated. That could be ad hominem if it's used to dismiss their arguments without engaging with them. She's not analyzing, she's attacking to score points. Then she says, those aren't really personal attacks. Okay. But then they're twisted into reacting or redirecting the argument into making it sound that you're attacking them, which is a common tactic narcissists like to use. And now I'm rambling, laughing emoji. Here's the kicker. She commits ad hominem while denying it. That narcissist jab, that's a straight up personal attack on a group, not an argument. It's also a shame tactic, implying that if you call out their tactics, you're a narcissist, right? The whole I'm rambling emoji thing, it's just a sympathy play to seem relatable and dodge any accountability. She finishes with, so as to not use too much of my own brain power, but borrow some of yours, would that actually fall into any of the other things that you mentioned? Now we have pride manipulation to close it out. They flatter you, right? Borrow some of your brain power to make you feel smarter while dodging the work of making a real argument. It's a sneaky way to keep you engaged without committing to a point. This comment is a masterclass in emotional manipulation, and it's dressed up as logic. Fear, anger, sympathy, pride, shame. She used the whole playbook to push a political agenda while ignoring the actual topic of logical fallacies. Emotions aren't the enemy, they're data. They tell you something matters, but don't let them make your decisions. Just feel them, name them, and then think past them. That's emotional intelligence. That commenter? Maybe she didn't even realize that she was doing this, right? That's how deep these tactics can run, right? But some people might not be aware of themselves doing it. I'm skeptical in this particular case. But now that you see them, you can't unsee them. Use the pause protocol next time you spot this stuff, whether it's in the comments, news, or even at a family dinner. And in the next video, we're talking about evidence, because once you spot the emotional manipulation, you still need to figure out what is actually true, right? I'll show you exactly how to evaluate those sources. Spot biased studies and separate facts from beautifully packaged bullshit. Hit like if this helped and drop a comment, and I'll see you in the next one.